Gyökeres is here. Can you get a better forward? Left wing needs to be sorted. Right wing, if it's not Bukayo Saka, the only guy I want to really see on a consistent basis is Max Dowman. So in the final third, it wasn't quite there. But then in many ways, and I've brought out a reaction, yeah. As I said, isolated to what we've been, I do think there were positives. I do think Kai Havertz and Noni Madueke tried to run in behind very early against a Newcastle team that tried to be narrow and condensed. You saw it with how was it Willock or Ramsey, one of them, they get everyone behind the ball. They don't really give you much space. So I did think we played with a lot of invention and intention. Best performance I've seen from Zubimendi in a minute. Rice obviously improved. The relationship we have with, Eze scored, and it's nice to see us, the set pieces. We are working on that. Eze scored, and Eze's in a fantastic moment. This is his best period as an Arsenal footballer. Odegaard, as in my opinion, 2 promising starts. Isolated to the poor season he's had, of course, but he's had 2 promising starts. Eze and Odegaard worked very well together. Much more improvement from Zubimendi. Hincapié, especially when we're trying to see out the game, absolute warrior. Lovely to see Bukayo Saka back. Lovely to see Miles Lewis-Skelly get some level of minutes in midfield or minutes full stop. And although there was nothing to scream and shout about from him, just seeing some of the passes he picked off, I'm thinking, Mikel, in the last 2 weeks, yeah, what's done is done, innit? But maybe utilising a Norgard that's irrelevant, or playing Miles Lewis-Skelly, doing certain things. We didn't do it today, but the setup in the first half with Manchester City, and for the players, how we took to it in the first half today, because it meant, like, if that was there a long time ago, we're running away with this league, but it's neither here nor there. I do think there was improvements. I can't, there was a lot of space in the midfield on occasion, but I do think we moved the ball quickly. I do think there was invention and intention. I do think there was an element of professionalism to see out the game. Of course, as a fan, we've been playing shit. Woe is me. We know as a minimum, big up you lot that are doing the goal difference thing, in which we kept a clean sheet and scored. That might help. I'm just on Arsenal in these 4 to 5 games left, obviously 4 now. Just get the 3 points and get out of there. Now, again, both teams are not really cutting the mustard in the final third. I think they had 3 shots on target. We had about 4. They had probably like 11, 12 shots in total. We probably had, I'll bring it up, but like 15, 16. So all of the positives and the negatives individually and collectively, they've been there this season, some even as long as last season. The main thing was just to get back to winning ways. And the minimum we can do is pick up 3 points. And although, in my opinion, it's out of our hands, win our games. I'm of the reality of just win all your games, as easy as it's easier to say that. Win all your games and hope City drop points. That's the realm we're in. There was obviously nervy moments. If Visa's having a tough time at Newcastle, innit? If Visa was the Visa we saw at Brentford, it probably is 1-1, and we're kicking ourselves for not taking our opportunities. But again, something needs a revamp in the final third. Saka, Eze, Odegaard, Hincapié, you're the only talking points, really. I think Raya brought calmness. I think there was a moment Saliba was overplaying, but there was that. And again, it's going to sound basic, but the willingness to rectify teammates' mistakes, like someone's losing the ball, we're getting back. Like even Noni, to be fair, like I said, I do think he ran in behind. I do think in many ways it was good, but we know Noni's not the answer. There was one incident, he lost the ball, yeah, and he raced and got it back. But for me, it's the decision making. It's like sometimes if we make the right decisions in the final third, the quality isn't quite there, or things that could be done in 2 passes, we're taking 4 or 5. Like there was an incident where Rice. Not that Noni's going to do anything, yeah, but Noni was on the right-hand side. I was on TalkSport. I said it. I was like, Noni's made that run. Declan Rice hit him. He's taken far too long. So, yeah, I do think it was a professional game in sorts. I do think there was a lot of space in the second half. I do think we forfeited possession and said, you know what, we back ourselves to kind of just see out the game. If we can get a second, which we didn't, then we'll get it. But all in all, we won the game, innit? And you don't know when I'm on TalkSport, I'm there making notes. So I want to make sure that you lot are smashing the like button. But also want to make sure I don't miss anything. So yeah, going into the game, of course, both teams needed the 3 points. I did feel to myself, yeah, and this is completely relevant but irrelevant. Football's a mad game, innit? And you look at the last 2 times we played City, key one being the game, how they were at the Emirates versus now, innit? I always think about momentum and timing in life, let alone football. It did make me sad going into this game because where were we when we played Newcastle away? I thought that was the precursor. I'm sure that was the first 4 or 5 games into the season. I thought that was the precursor for what was to come. And what I mean by that is our boys handling adversity, because we went a goal down. We didn't get a penalty shout. We came back from behind. If you remember that game individually, including Eze, every player stood up to be counted. The starters were on it. We found a way to get it done. The people off the bench did well. And I think with that, yeah, Arteta found the freedom within the framework, as close to what I always demand of him, like what he needs to learn from a Luis Enrique and Pep Guardiola. And what I mean by that is he found the balance in that game of complicating. Yeah, Newcastle do this, so we're going to do that. Complicating what you need to complicate, keeping things simple where you need to keep things simple. I do think, yeah, Newcastle's weird, man, because they started the second half well, and it's like we looked a bit spent and tired and all of these things towards the end of the game. Maybe that's physical tiredness, maybe that's psychological tiredness, because the boys know what they're trying to achieve, and obviously at the stadium we know what we need to do and the results of whether we win, lose or draw. But we looked a bit spent towards the end of the game. Newcastle just looked like they were getting life, and to be fair, if Newcastle were in a better moment and they were the Newcastle of what we know about them and Eddie Howe, it might have been a different game. But reality, we did what we needed to do, man. We did what we needed to do, man. And it make no mistake, if we drop points, then you have to think the league's gone, if I'm completely honest with you. Going into this game, I just wanted to get 3 points and build on the City game. I think we did that. As I said, we need to win all games and pray. I do think individually and collectively there was confidence there. Newcastle obviously tried to be compact. I do think in times the game it kind of, it was a chess match, but it kind of opened up and became like an open kind of game in which you get a bit scared. I do think from start to finish the game had a good tempo, beyond the obvious reasons of Kai Havertz being injured. Yeah, I'm disappointed because I feel he was doing good. And I think when Gyökeres came on, that changed our whole approach as to how we was trying to go about this. Noni Madueke in the final third, and everybody in the final third, but Noni in the final third, the less said, the better. I do think Zubi had a good game snapping at heels. It's all about Hincapié, and if it's not about that, it's about Eze for me, man. Just everything Eze does, the dropping of the shoulders, etc., etc. All in all, we managed the game. We conceded a lot of the ball, but we made sure nothing came and bit us on the arse. So yeah, the main things is, for me, our attacking options collectively are dead. Like, they're dead, if I'm completely honest. Saka is a yard above Madueke, and I know you need to rest, and I'm not trying to make it about Noni Madueke, but if it's not Bukayo Saka, it has to be Max Dowman, and to the point where, like, Wanyeri could have done that. I know we could deal with another wide reinforcement, but Wanyeri could have done that. Main takeaway for me is seeing Miles Lewis-Skelly get some minutes and some encouraging actions in midfield. I do like the relationship developing between Eze and Odegaard. Gyökeres final act. Gyökeres, Noni Madueke, Martinelli, the list goes on, innit? Big up Kai for the assist, and big up you lot for the set piece routine. Yeah, and I do think, like, Newcastle have had a poor season, but they could build on that. But clean sheet, 3 points. We do what we need to do. Build some momentum. Now we focus on Atletico Madrid, people. And, again, the main thing is that we won the game. We managed the game. There was professionalism in our defensive aspects. There was a lot. I can't question the willingness to attack, because sometimes we're passing it side to side. I'm not really seeing what's going on. There was a willingness to do it. It's more of a quality thing. Maybe some players are in a bad moment, or there's some physical factors. Some players, pardon me, unfortunately, are just not the levels to expect anything from, really and truly. They're very hot and cold. So yeah, Newcastle had 11 shots. We had 10. We had 4 on target. They had 3. So both teams had chances that they could have done a bit better in. And the first 10 minutes was good. Both teams are wanting a lot more in the final third, whether it's for whatever reason, right? We had 7 corners. 1 made the difference. They had 2. They ended the game with 54% of the ball to 46. And possessions, 9 tenths of the law. Possessions, everything, but it's what you do with it, because I've seen the flip side where we've had way more possession against Newcastle at home. They walk away with something. What was it, the 2022-23 season? Or maybe the year before that, where the ball was statistically out of play for F knows how long. Temporarily, we move up to the top, back to the top. Obviously, I say temporarily with a glimmer of hope that City drop points, because for me, I can't see where City lose. They made hella rotations today against Southampton. Southampton probably could have nicked it. They need to keep people on side, innit? But for me, I need Manchester City to drop points within the next 3 games. They've got Everton away, they've got Bournemouth, I'm sure they've got Brentford. All we can do is win our games and pray. So temporarily, we move up to the top. We part that off and we focus on next week against Atletico Madrid and Fulham again at 5:30. So yeah, was it the most glamorous of performances? No. In many ways, there was things that convinced me that the players are feeling the pressure in the right way, do want to see the game through, do have that headspace to know we have to throw punches, but take punches. But then also, there's concerns. Today, for me, it's more the concerns in the final third. Midfield, I think, did its thing. There's a lot of space. I can caveat that with, it's getting a bit end-to-endy and open, Eddie Howe and Arteta, they're both chess players in that regard. Defensively, we know what to expect. To be fair with you as well, like, I do think Benjamin White, like, very encouraging from you, Benjamin, if I'm honest with you, because we know he's not been able to really put in any good performances or put his best foot forward, if I'm completely honest. So I'll have that any day of the week, man. Let's win this. William, we did win it, man. Wish Talksport would stop taking our DG away from us. Nice to know I was missed, Dan. Appreciate you. Tom, I was on that. Beans on toast, appreciate you. Marlo, we did get the 3 points. It was a beauty from Eze, and Eze's in a fantastic moment. See the way Eze's been moving in the last 2-3 months. I use these terms lightly. That's what you thought when we signed him in the summer, and you're looking at him on YouTube in the Crystal Palace highlights. Whether he's left wing or up front, it is what it is. Long term, you don't know my thoughts. I want different ingredients. This is my thing, because you look at that right-hand side of our picture, any team is going to miss key players, individually and collectively. Football is about relationships. So give or take, we've seen Benjamin White, Odegaard, Saka, indirectly, Kai Havertz pulls out to that right-hand side. Generally, within the last 2-3 years, right? You throw Timber in there, you throw 1-2 other players. Of course, if you miss them, that's going to affect any team's philosophy. But that's plan A. Arteta needs to find like a plan B for that. And I don't feel there's any real good relationships. Like, I don't mind if that's what you want to do. I don't mind if it's Rice and Zubimendi and Odegaard. But there's times I want to see Eze able to play out wide and Odegaard centrally. At times, Rice or Zubimendi as a lone 6 and rotating 8s. We need them kind of pivots. Even though there was a point it was working and then it quickly didn't work. When we had Gyökeres and Kai Havertz, you know, there's been times where I don't agree with this, because we all know this is probably the most smelly front three we can put together. Martinelli, Noni Madueke, Gyökeres, and then you can put Kai. None of them are technically sound and safe and all of those things. But if you've got them on the pitch, they can harm you. You need to play direct. And actually, I did think we played very direct from the jump. These are the kind of things Arteta has to install and needed to install this season, but it's gone a bit left. But yeah, Eze's doing his thing. Obviously, he's signed to make the difference. He's done that. Long term, we need to really address our attackers. I don't know what's going to happen. If Jesus leaves, do we need another striker? You could argue yes, especially if you could get Julian Alvarez. Not happening. You could also argue no, because you still have Marino, Kai Havertz, who's not going to be moved on, and Gyökeres. But next season, I need a left winger that is undoubtedly better than everyone. Even that, like, better guy left wing. Eze can play left wing if we need to accommodate him and Odegaard. That's my two options. If you've got a Trossard and or a Martinelli, listen, it's a long season. We can mix and blend with one of those. Noni, isolated to your role of being a deputy, is what I expect. But again, there's two faults. One for me is a personnel issue, and one of it is tactics. Because a lot of these attackers, like Noni, I don't know. I'm not saying you're not trying to improve and things like that, or the gaffer, but you're actually got decent fundamentals. You're a very frustrating player, because you have got a willingness. I do like your attitude. Don't think we should have bought you, but I do like your attitude. But things that you can do in 2 touches, you're taking 3, you're overrunning it. And at 24, 25, if the penny's never going to drop to not do these things, it's never going to happen. So you're kind of one of them. Like Martinelli, I accept you for what they are. You are. You can be squad players. You might get goal through purple patches of scoring, but there's that. And obviously recruitment, bro. Like, respectfully, I can't be looking at Noni, Martinelli, Trossard, these guys out wide. It shocks me if you don't score, and it doesn't shock me if you score or not, if that makes sense. And if we want to go from a competitive team to the next level, we need to know what we can get out of these players. But also, clearly, tactically, something needs to change. Generally, tactic needs to change. I think it's a quality issue, and it's obviously a tactical issue, not related to necessarily today, but generally throughout this course of the season, isn't it? But it was a beautiful goal from Eze. Great result of the training ground. Nice to see us back to not only back to set pieces, but the short set pieces have been pissing me off in this current cluster of games, purely because, you know, against Bournemouth, against City, against Southampton, we're up against it. We're not playing well. We're trying to win the game, and we're doing the short thing. So the positives would be clean sheet, 3 points. Nketiah, Eze, Odegaard for me. Generally, to see Odegaard and Eze's relationship, to see Saka back, to see maybe Mikel Arteta MLS in midfield. Arteta, you know these things. You know you can play MLS. You know you can play more attacking football. But for one reason or not, you choose not to. So as long as you get the job done, fair play. We needed to react. We needed to stop the rut. We needed to actually win a domestic game. We need to attempt to build some momentum. And I do think we did that between the 2 performances against Newcastle and City. All attentions to Fulham next weekend. And just before that, we've got the small task of a semi-finals in the Champions League. What happened to you? I was on Talksport. Appreciate you, Derek. Big up the Aussies, man. Big up the Aussies. Gyökeres needs to up his passing. Bro, Gyökeres, just put the ball in the back of the net or play direct. Gyökeres, I'm not looking at you for passing. And I feel sorry for Kai, man, because we all know in terms of the system and a facilitative figure, that is what Kai can give you. But Kai's not going to deliver if he's there. Gyökeres, we don't know if you're going to be there. If we want to get to the next level, like, we can't keep talking year in, year out. Who's the first choice striker? We can't keep talking about, for example, I know it's not the same, but Gyökeres or Kai Havertz, because when it weren't Kai, it was Kai or Jesus or Trossard as a false nine, Trossard, Martinelli on the left hand side. There's certain conversations we need to stop having now. For now, what's left of this year, it is what it is. Marino is our best striker still. If Gyökeres ain't scoring goals, it's dark. And I do like the changes we've made, but I've always thought, you know what, Eze's in a great moment when he was playing centrally. Gyökeres was scoring goals. They're tools in a toolbox, isn't it, really? Noni getting 80 minutes was diabolical. I wanted him gone by the 60th. At some point, I can't keep getting mad at Noni, because, like, when has anyone thought Noni could be the guy? Potential is one thing. Realized potential is another. If we want any more projects, let them be random youths from Brazil or wherever that are not going to cost much, because we have put people on big wages. They have been brought in for decent collective fees. Like, our best attackers are the ones that have come, like, excluding Eze, our best attackers have probably been the ones that are at the club already, fair enough, or especially under Mikel Arteta, with the exception of Trossard. Kai, we failed upwards with that because we tried to do the midfield thing. Marino, obviously the same. Gyökeres, whether we wanted him or not, at some point you had to consider that there's more pros to cons, so Arteta's got to make that work. But 60-odd million on that, 50-odd million on Noni, 50-odd million on him, 65 on Kai. However much for Marino. Trossard was good value, and it just seems like it's the end. For the play, for what we've spent, we haven't got too much bang for our buck. The best attackers, in my opinion, obviously, we've got what we've paid for with Eze. Saka and Dalman have come through for free. Martinelli had his season, but you get where I'm going. It's done now, isn't it? So, yeah, we look shattered towards the end. So it wasn't pretty, but it was an improvement of what we've been doing, innit? So all we can do is work very hard. Like, what, 6 games, 7 games? Like, what, 4 in the Premier League, 2 minimum in the Champions League, hopefully 3. You've got 6, 7 games to salvage your season or end on a high, and that being bringing home a Premier League in the Champions League, or the Premier League or the Champions League. We have to let go and let God in it. DG, we are in trouble, man. The players are shattered. Newcastle weren't even moving around us. We just looked leggy all second half. We should rotate and play for a draw Wednesday. I fear Fulham. We ain't got time for that. I can't lie. It's not that you're wrong, but, bro, it is what it is. Honestly, it is what it is. Like, we all know once it gets to April, it's crunch time. You need to deliver. And I know we've got injuries. I know we don't believe in certain players. I know there's question marks over the gaffer. I know there's all these things. I share all of these things, and it's not that they're not prevalent and relevant, but right now, it is what it is. Like, it is what it is. We've got what we've got. We don't have what we don't have. It is what it is. It's not what it's not. Win the games. Let's get this parade sorted. And it's out of our hands. Like, it's jarring, man. It's jarring. We live for another day. Social, one love, man. But yeah, and like I said, there's certain man, I accept you for what they are. Like, Gyökeres, I'm not expecting you to ever have quality on the final pass and all of that. Kai, I'm never expecting you to be a consistent bagsman. Noni Madueke, just take on your man in. I don't really rate you in the final third. Martinelli, the same. Trossard, it's the beginning of the end. Gabriel Jesus is a non-story. The only ones I genuinely believe in the final third are Saka, Dalman, and Eze. And even that, Saka's been shit this season, realistically. But for me, Saka needs to play every game. Away from, obviously, we need to nurse him and that. Saka, a 5% Saka is better than certain man. Like, I'm sorry. As I said, it's not a scapegoating thing. We didn't discover these things today. We never discovered, for some players, we never discovered it today. We didn't discover it at any point this season. We've known about this for years, innit? So the attack needs a revamp. Midfield needs more depth. Arteta's got to figure it out. And as I said on the start, yeah, like, certain things you've done in the last 2 games against Manchester City and obviously against Manchester City and today, I just wonder if whether it's the collective approach, whether it's the use of personnel, whether it's substitutes, maybe if we did that a lot sooner. And to be fair, you don't know how critical I've been of us defensively, and we did give up chances today, 100%. Like, we did get overrun, we did concede possession, we could have conceded on another day, but isolated to how we've been performing in the last however many games after the international break, that's the that's the best you've been defensively in terms of your compactness, your following runners, your willingness to defend. Because there were moments of improvement, but there was also a number of positive signs I genuinely feel today. This weren't one that makes me sit up and be like, wow, it's one of the best performances of our season, even though it looks improbable, like us winning certain things. We're on it. But the main thing was just to win. The main thing was just to win, man. I did like how we was a bit more direct, but there needs to be more intricacies. Like, everything that we want in the final third, whether it's recruitment, tactics, is boring now, isn't it? Like, You don't know where I'm at with it. There were better individual moments in attack and defense. I'd go with that. A performance similar to Man City, but this time Newcastle couldn't find an answer. I have to think Arteta was using this time to train MLS to be an 8. No way he was kept in the dark for this long without doing anything. Big up yourself, Lint. Zubi played like he had a point to prove. Never seen this gassed for a long time. Thanking your defensive throughout the game shows our attack needs to buckle up. Bro, we needed to score a lot more goals. Because there were points I was thinking, bro, definitely the last action of the game with Gyökeres. Like, you make it 2-0, it's game done. But I will give them that, even though I've been quite critical. When it's 1-0 and we saw how the first half was and we saw how the second half was, you either get another goal, get maybe even 2 goals. It's party time. We can ease off, or you fucking make sure it stays 1-0. And today you did that, innit? So improve, like, based on like what we've been in recent weeks, an improvement. Is it to a suitable level? Does it make you feel wow? No. But the main thing is points on the board at this moment in time, innit? So we done that, man. So I'm not gonna complain. Think Zubi was backing off his man a bit too much first half, but was good in the second half. Noni is so poor. I need Saka fit. We need to speak about Odegaard. Doesn't play direct, though. Thought he was poor. I can't lie. I think people are being harsh on Odegaard. I think people, and rightly or wrongly so, I think you lot have made your point, made your minds up. I actually don't. I think Odegaard is one of our best players today, if I'm brutally honest. We got the result. That's all that matters at this stage of the season, despite the shite football, media performance, DG. I'm starting to see serious connections with getting a root canal and being an Arsenal supporter. But getting those 3 points today is all I cared about. Eze says he's fine, nervous about Kai. Pope always getting away with fouls on York June. Hey, Nick Pope is so lucky he's not the last man. He's so lucky he's not the last man. Or it would have been done. It would have been done. Big up delusional Guna. I think Eze was taken off as a precaution, no injury. Deck was underwhelming as well. If you're here, hit the like button and support a DG. Appreciate you. Man, we scraped a 1-0. We scraped a 1-0 football dog shite. We need a new coach. End of. To be honest, I think this game might be more on the players and bad decision making up front. I hear that. But then again, indirectly, we didn't end up here overnight with these things. Like, collectively, our attack isn't good. Couple man are good, but their form is a bit patchy. Collectively, in the same way we didn't end up overnight with a Timber, a Mascara, a Benjamin White, a Saliba, a Gabriel, Lewis Skelly, who had a great season at left back last year, Hincapié, Calafiori. You get where I'm going. We didn't end up there positively overnight. We've made bad decisions to end up like this. We've got players that are in bad form, players that are just bad full stop in the final third, or players that have bad decision making. Like, if we want to be a competitive, I always say this, we've been competitive in the last 3 years, 4 and counting. Them, 2 semi-finals, more points than the Invincibles. All of them statistics other than the ones we want, which is winning stuff. We've got enough because we've shown that. But if you want to get to the next level, we need man we can bet on. I need to look at my wingers and know you're going to get, let's just say, double figures. My right winger's going to get double figures. My first choice left winger's going to get double figures. These man can chip in. Midfield is doing this. This striker's going to do this. Like, one striker's getting you 15, 20 league goals. This one might get you 20 all comps or something. That a lot of that is a recruitment and personnel issue. Because a lot of these players are past it, either not good enough, and Arteta has to take responsibility for that. But also, a lot of it is tactics. For me, it's more on the decision-making of the individuals today. But generally, it is on Arteta, because I do think there's a bit of a tax for any attacker at this current moment that signs, man. But isolate to what we know about our club. Like, some of you, it's not that you're wrong, and some of what I've said, we're talking about the same things. We're saying about the same things. Some of these things have been there all year or for years. It's not going to change today, innit? That's why it's not that these are not relevant and prominent, and I don't want to have, and I do want to have these conversations, but it's dead, innit? Like, let's just win the games, bro. Newcastle have a bozo keeper and we couldn't get more. Poor decision making, let it all work out. We won the game, and that was good enough for me. However, these guys need to start passing the ball to Gyökeres and stop passing it backwards all the time. Arteta needs to pick better too. I think Gyökeres struggled to get into the game. There were some good actions where he chased lost causes. He pressed well. I'm really just pissed off with his final action. We had to change the way we played. We know with Kai, he's going to, offer a pass. He's going to make decoy runs. He's going to run in behind. We still need to learn to play to a striker's strength. Forget Gyökeres, but we still need to play it in the direct manner. So if you go and get that striker, that's a lot better, man. There was even a moment Gyökeres hounded Tonali. So as much as I'm critical of the individuals and we've been speaking broadly, it was a collective, innit? Everybody mucked in to get the result done. And I do think there was a calmness from the boys that hasn't been there in recent. So, yeah, man, we got the 3 points, man. I can't believe it took till damn near May before Arteta realized they could utilize Eze shooting from outside the box as a set piece routine. True, true, good point. Thank God April is over, 4 more to go. It's all going to go down to goal difference. Then I think we're in trouble. Facts. Eze scored bangers against Palace, Spurs, Leverkusen, and today West Ham as well. Or am I forcing it? I feel like he scored against West Ham. I might be capping. I'm making it out. But yeah, Eze scored some cracking finishes, man. Give him the keys. Just let him, Saka, do the mad thing, man. But DG, Kai does a lot of missing too. Got like 3 golden opportunities in the City game, wasted them all. Noni should just stay on the bench. I don't think Arteta is telling them not to attack. I think our attackers are given the reins to do what they want, but they're average, very different. And also, Arteta doesn't coach attacking players well. I've seen no improvement in Noni. So I'm just going to say, I know you're trying, and I know the manager's trying. So 50% Noni, you need to go, 50% on the gaffer, 50% you need to go and do more. But I hope for a miracle. But Noni's one of them players that I just accept them for what they are, bro. Because, like, how old is he? You're 24, 25. If you're still playing with your head down, running into blind alleys and certain things that we're talking about, if you ain't got it now, you're never going to have it. You might have purple patches. That's my only hope for Noni. I'll be real. And Martinelli. There might be times you're just scoring goals. But now, if that's being said, that means you lot are for the squad. You lot can get an occasional start. Pardon me, you're off the bench, etc. There's too much unanswered questions in the final third. Now, a lot of it is what it is. But we need to get, for next season, it needs to be better. I don't want to talk about next season because we all know over a 38-game calendar, there's times you're going to be amazing, times where you're going to be shit. Sometimes you play very, times you lose and you play better in that loss than when you won. But there's also an element of sometimes you're going to be shit and you need your players to get you out of jail. And not so much applicable to today. Maybe some of you would differ, but that's something we need. That's something we need. Gyökeres can't hold the ball up, can't pass on the break. Game changed when he came on. That I agree with. When he came on, it changed. Smash the likes, people. Gyökeres should be in the locker room beating up Odegaard. I feel like Odegaard has beef with Gyökeres. Allow it, man. Lucky today we go again next week. Manchester United fans going for City consistently, mate. Gyökeres has goals but no assists. It's looking better with a certain type of play if he could do it. But that's what I mean, accepting man for they are. I'm not going to ask Gyökeres to score goals. I'm not going to ask Gyökeres to create. I'm not going to ask Kai to bag goals, like rightly or wrongly. As much as it pisses me off, and we've had conversations that sometimes I need to accept man for what they are. Gyökeres can give it a good goal. Last 2 games has been a bit meaty from him in that regard, but he's a limited service-reliant striker. If you play direct, get him in positions, that's him. Kai Havertz, he's going to get him behind. You don't really have much faith in him with that. There's certain, like, you just wish you could combine a Gyökeres and a Kai together. We've got a lot of them kind of guys, man. Like, sometimes I feel if Martinelli had Trossard's decision making, he'd be a lot better, but that's not how life works. Like, say in a video game. Waltmarder has more vision, precision, and creativity than Odegaard. To be fair, when Waltmarder and Visa linked up, my heart dropped. I genuinely thought I thought the minute Visa connects to that, it's 1-1. So there were moments where football decided in both ends. We could have got more goals, and we can be pissed off with that, but we need to be thankful we never conceded, because if life was fair, we'd all have a lot less. And if we're honest with you, Newcastle deserved at least a goal or two. In other ways, this could have ended 1-0 each way. Could have been 1-0 to us. Could have been 1-1, max 2-2, maybe 3-3. You get where I'm going, but we can only deal with the facts. We won today. Take the good, make it great, address the evident areas of improvement, innit? Nah, Gyökeres was shocking today. Kai completes that pass to Saka 9 times out of 10. 100%. You see the difference? As soon as Saka came on the pitch, suddenly Martin passing the ball quicker, gets a shot off on target. The attack know the plan when Saka's on the pitch. I see Doku's resurgence and feel we can rehab Noni. Football IQ can be coached. How many goals has Doku got? Because you are doing well, but I need to see 2 strong goal-scoring campaigns from Doku before I say he's turned the corner. Because for every game you perform like this, how you might have any point this season, your season's even been up and down. It can be improved, but like, I know Noni's improving, like he's trying to improve, but bro, like how many times you need to be in the same situation? Once or twice, I can forgive it. It's happening. It happens almost in every game. And it happens sometimes 2 or 3 similar actions in the game. On paper, Noni, there's a lot of tools you've got that I like. You like to take on your man. You are confident, but you overrun it. Sometimes you run into blind alleys with your head down. Sometimes you do the wrong. You don't have the balance of when to keep it simple, when to overcomplicate. And that's why as much as Noni needs to answer for that, I'm not going to I'm looking at the gaffer because you're telling me he can help us for this season. And I'm not trying to make it about Noni or about Martinelli. It's just when you look at the collective attacking options, someone ideally who should be playing in the center of the midfield or in a central position. Eze is better than anything you lot can try run me left wing. Max Dowman, whether he gets goals or assists, I got a lot more faith in him on the right hand side. If it's not Bukayo, then people that have played for their country, played for big clubs, etc. I hear what you're saying with Doku, but 2 goals, really, 7 assists, fair play, but it's hardly enough to say a resurgence because Doku's got all the physical tools. If Doku really had that resurgence and that football IQ, he's easily a double-figure winger. And City probably don't even buy Semenyo and them kind of guys. Plenty of chances gone begging, though. Just that lack of good assist or pass. You know what? He's not the worst offender, yeah. But as I said, there's certain players I don't really believe in these situations. Declan Rice is one that I do believe in. Declan's one pissed me off. Declan, come on, mate. I didn't even do you know what? A lot of third man runs from Zubamendi. I was happy with it today. Zubi was good. On a side note, what was it like to see Abby get the hope? Then it dashed away in the space of 10 minutes. She was more vexed that West Ham won versus Spurs winning. And yeah, it was nice to see the smile kind of wiped. We can't pass on the counter. We can, it's just, well, no, we can't. We can, but again, if you're going to counter-attack, we're overhitting, we're underhitting, you get where I'm going. The only counter-attack of recent that actually looked like someone knows exactly what they're doing. It was actually Martinelli making the run off the ball, and obviously Max Dowman just taking over everything against Everton. One thing that annoyed me with Odegaard was the pass he didn't play into Havertz when he was last man. Glad for the win, but the performance at home was too shaky. He needs to make better passes forward. Better yet, he needs to give Gyökeres the ball.